at my flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic to which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's move on now to the adoption of the agenda. Everybody's had a chance to look at it. I'm looking for a motion to adopt today's agenda.
Drollet moves to adopt the agenda.
Support.
Romano seconds.
Lucido support.
Okay, so I got Drollet. I heard him very clearly, and I heard Liz Lucido. So please vote. Okay, next item on the agenda is public participation. For members in the public, if there's anybody out there, we're going to start with people on the phone. Anybody who wants to talk, please hit *69 to unmute yourself and go ahead and announce your name and your city, and you can begin. Again, this is for anybody that's out there on their phone that would like to participate. *69 to unmute and start talking. Okay, going once, going twice. Going to close public participation from the phone. Anybody in here that's on the Google Meet system or any other system, if you'd like to talk, please unmute yourself and go ahead and proceed. Okay, going to ask one more time. If you are in this Google Meet system and you want to talk, public participation for 5 minutes, unmute yourself. You can show us your face with the camera or not. It's up to you, but you'll have 5 minutes to talk. All right, going once, going twice. We're going to close public participation and move on now to department recommendations. Item 5A. It looks
You
like
unmuted yourself.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to approve A.
Okay. By Duje, looking for support. Anybody?
Lucido support.
Okay.
Unmuted yourself.
Driver support.
All right, we got a motion by Duje and Lucido. Please vote. This is for item 5A before we have anybody come up and talk. Oh, wait, we're not going to vote. We're going to have you come up and talk. My mistake. Come on up. Who's here from the Sheriff's Department? Anybody? Do we have anybody from the Sheriff's Department to talk about this? No, I don't think we do. Okay, do any commissioners? Commissioner Kleinfeld, you have a question? I see you speaking here.
Yeah, I was just going to say I actually had one question on each of these two, and I'll just send them into the board offices since there's nobody here.
Yeah, it looks like Commissioner Kleinfeld's right. We've got two items. A, obviously, we just motioned up, and B, which are both from the Sheriff's Department. Since it appears nobody's here from the Sheriff's Department, do we want to add item B to Commissioner Duje's motion?
You unmuted yourself.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve A and B.
Okay, is there support?
You unmuted yourself.
Support.
Okay, this time here on the amended motion, Sauger support.
So just very quickly, I noticed that none of these are from Macomb County. And I just wanted to ask.
Wait, hold on. I have Captain Daniels joining right now. Hi, Captain Daniels, are you there? Give him a second. I saw his name.
And Marv may need to mute.
Okay. Yeah, please mute. Captain Daniels, I see that you joined. Are you there?
You unmuted yourself.
Oh, that's okay. You got a nice conference room. Okay. So, Captain Daniels, to bring you up to speed, we are on items number 5A and B. A motion has been made. And if you want to give a brief report on both A and B, the floor is yours.
Sorry, guys. I didn't know I thought we started at 3 o'clock. I apologize for being late.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay, so the two items in front of you are requests to purchase vehicles again for the fleet for the Sheriff's Office. Approve the purchase from Signature Ford 8 Ford Explorers and 3 Ford Transit vans. The funding source to purchase these vehicles will be from the General Fund Vehicle Purchase Fund Org, 101-93110-95045. The purchase of these vehicles is part of our 5-year plan. They are our Explorers will be used for patrol vehicles, and the vans obviously are transit vans for court transport, for prisoner transport throughout the county and state of Michigan. The contract to purchase these vehicles was awarded to Signature Ford. The Signature Ford's awarded bid number is 21-18. The bid process for Signature Ford was submitted, reviewed, and approved by the Macomb County Finance Department and the Macomb County Fleet Manager. These 8 Explorers and the 3 transit vans, along with the other 2 administration cars that we're going to be requesting for the from Todd Wenzel Chevrolet, the GMCs, will complete the purchase for 2020 from the Sheriff's Office, barring any vehicles that are being damaged or that will be totaled, possibly taken out of service.
Okay. Okay. All right. On the floor here, I have Commissioner Kleinfeld, who had some questions. So, Veronica, go ahead.
Thank you. The first item is the Malibus.
Yes.
And, I had not seen that one had, there's looks like there's some information that was added because I hadn't seen, oh no, that's for the other one. So with the first one, I didn't see that went out to bid, but I also noticed it wasn't a Macomb County business that from what I could see. So I was wondering if we didn't go out to bid on those, first of all, is that $38,000 for 2 of them?
Yes. Yeah, 17,840 is the price, or 17,000, and it's for 2 vehicles. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a good price.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, do you if you didn't take it out to bid, do you do business with them so you knew and you went to them, or how did that work? And then with respect to the other one as well, there's a lot of vehicles purchased there, and none of them from Macomb County. So I was wondering how you did that bid as well. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So the bid process actually is done by our fleet manager, and Signature Ford and Todd Wenzel Chevrolet are both approved vendors through the county. Now, I really can't speak to how the bid process works with our fleet manager, but we have purchased GM products from Todd Wenzel Chevrolet over the last 2 years, and also from Ford. So they are approved vendors, and they did win the bid for the county of Macomb.
Okay, so if we could just find out before full board how he advertises the bids, that would be great. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
I can do that.
Just a follow up on that, Captain, and just for you, Veronica. You said the purchasing department actually did the bidding, right? It wasn't the sheriff's department; it was the purchasing department.
That's correct. The purchasing department, finance department, and purchasing does that. And I believe it's on Mitten. I'll confirm that, but I think that's how they get the awards.
Okay. All right.
I'm almost positive about that.
Thank you. All right. Next on board, I have Commissioner Drollet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just a kind of a quick question, Captain. I don't remember us buying 8, 10 vehicles at a particular time in the past. Is this a larger than normal purchase for us annually, or am I just not remembering right? Is there something unique that it's requiring us to buy a somewhat larger number at this time?
No, that's a good question. So every Steve Schmiegel and the finance department asks us to project a 5-year plan for our fleet. So every year, we add to our 5-year plan as time goes by. So typically, what we've done in the past is come to you and purchase different numbers of vehicles throughout the year. The thought was in January or February, we had our complete fleet request for 2020. We were going to come in front of the board and make one request. And I thought that, actually, I thought that the finance department was going to submit this through civic clerk and do this all at one time. For some reason, that's not how this went down, and that's why we're doing this. But the idea was we wanted to make one presentation to the board at the beginning of the year for our fleet for the entire year. And that's how I thought we were going to conduct business, but that didn't work. So, but that's historically not how we've done it in the past. That's a good question. I can tell you that our 5-year plan, if we could, we'd prefer to buy all our vehicles right at the beginning of the year and get them in on our property, and then get them upfitted when we need them. So,
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate the answer. Thank you.
welcome.
Okay, any other speakers? Any other speakers? Okay, there's a motion on the floor for items 5A and B. At this time, please vote.
That motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain Daniels. Take care. Be safe out there.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Again, I apologize for being late. I thought we were 3 o'clock.
Don't worry about it. Okay, I'm going to move on now to item 5C. This is an interagency agreement with the Michigan Department of Treasury for the collection of accounts that are receivable to the 16th Circuit Court of Macomb. So, John, are you there? I think you're going to report on this, right?
I am here, Commissioner. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead.
My audio. So this is a proposed memorandum of understanding with the Department of Treasury. We are required by the State Court Administrative Office, suggested, not required, to look into outside collection agencies after we have exhausted all efforts at collection internally. So this is in conjunction with that. We will be sending basically our very old cases, probably 5 to 7 years old, over to the Department of Treasury. We used to have a private company that did our collection work, but several years ago, they dropped us. No other private companies are interested in picking up court collections that we could find because, simply put, we do such a pretty good job of collecting on our own that they were collecting something like 1% of what we transferred over to them. All of that said, the Department of Treasury has some additional means of doing this. So if we enter into an MOU with them, then they can go and attempt to collect on some of these old court costs, restitution, attorney fees, things like that, that haven't been discharged or paid. So before we even get there, we try to set up payment plans, we try to do collection notices, we do income tax intercepts, prisoner sweeps, a whole lot of efforts before it even gets there. But the Treasury is willing to do this for us. Anything they collect, they get 20% of, up to 20% of, depending on what their costs are for collections. But these are the very old things that we would be writing off at this point if we don't do this. So it's an effort to have one last final shot at getting payment. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
I don't, first on the list looks like me, Jen. Did you, and I may have misheard you right when you were starting, is this something that we have to mandatorily do because all efforts have stopped? Is this something that we then have to turn it over to Treasury, or is this something we're doing on our own volition because we figure, hey, last shot?
So this is something that is suggested by the State Court Administrative Office as a last resort. It's not required.
Okay.
But we used to do it with private companies, and we can't get a private company interested.
One question too, I 20% with the Treasury. The private companies, when they did do it, what were they charging? Just out of curiosity, if you know.
I do not know. I believe it was comparable. And one clarification, it is only up to 20%.
Up to 20%.
If it costs them that much, they would go up to 20%.
Right. Okay.
I believe it was comparable. I believe Susan Sabo's on the line. She may have a number, but I don't have.
And
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We sure can. Hi, Susan. How are
Hi.
you?
It was 20% also for
Okay.
the private.
I got you. Well, in some ways too, and I don't want to take up the floor too long. Some of these court costs and stuff would go to the state anyway. Really, I mean, so they're kind of getting some of their money anyhow, right? I mean, for their work, that that's fine.
That's correct.
That's absolutely true. State minimum costs, crime victim rights fees, all of those go to the state.
Right. So
So
let them work instead of you folks. I know you folks do good work, so let them collect their money. All right. Next on the list is Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. Just one question. How much money are we talking about that's turned over to the state as we deem uncollectible?
it's a very shifting amount from year to year. And again, for exact amounts, I'd have to defer to Susan if she has any funds.
I just need an approximate. I'm sorry. I just need an approximate that we normally turn over.
Susan, could you chime in on that or give some idea?
May have lost her.
Uh-oh.
No,
I think we lost
Oh,
Susan.
she's still there. There she popped up again.
I was trying to look it up. I did request activity from our prior private company and what we had sent over. And it actually varied from one year we had over $8 million worth of accounts. And then the next year it was just shy of $1 million. So it really depends on which accounts have gone delinquent and how many, that year are ready to be sent over. So it can be in the millions.
And
Or down.
Commissioner Romano, to just follow up on that, there's some discretion here with the chief judge of the court as to how long we keep it versus when we would decide to turn it over. We're under no obligation at any point to turn it over. But at a certain point, in terms of trying to collect someone's debt, it just doesn't make any sense anymore because it costs us money to keep doing these intercepts and everything else.
Right. Okay.
Thank you. Just a statement. You know what? Using the first figure of eight, again, Commissioner Romano, talking about $8 million or $2 or $3 million. And Counselor, you're the chair today. I would think there's a number of attorneys who are strictly collection attorneys. I don't know how the bidding process goes out or how they interview, but I would think there's a number of collection attorneys that would certainly be interested in those kinds of numbers, not knowing how vigorously we try to collect the money ourselves instead of turning it over to the state. Just a statement.
I want to maybe to give you just a little background. If the court has the court has some contempt powers. The court can put people in jail. The court can do quite a bit to collect. Oftentimes, and as John indicated and Susan indicated, I mean, they're pretty good at collecting. And in the end, if they can't collect with the weight of the court behind them, it can be often hard for private attorneys to do any better. You got to be very creative. It's a little bit like a hunting game. So I'm sure, as John's indicated, these are the ones that they've done everything they possibly could. And at this point, figure turn it over to the state. And keep in mind, let's say it's $1 million. Probably 30 or 40% of that's going to go to the state anyway. So we would be doing a lot of our work to put money right back into the state's coffers. I'm assuming these are the cases that they're like, we've tried everything and just turn it over to the state and see if they can do something.
That's absolutely right, Commissioner Leonetti. And to add some more clarification, Commissioner Romano, we have these abilities that a private collection agency wouldn't have, which is why they're typically uninterested. Basically, no one's doing it anymore for court costs. We're just talking court costs. And the nice thing about Treasury is they have some options that we don't even have. So they can do skip tracing, they can do issue a levy directly on someone's salary or their bank account or their other financial assets, which as the court, that's a power that's reserved to Treasury versus us. So it just gives one last bite at the apple.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Chair. That's all I have.
You're welcome.
Any other, Andre, Commissioner Duge?
You unmuted yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had something along these lines, I'd say about 8 to 10 years ago, that we had a private agency doing this, a private company doing this, and they dropped out of it because they couldn't make any money at it. And if I'm not mistaken, they were charging us like 30%, 32%. the 8 million and $1 million figures sound very high, but after everything's said and done, if I'm not mistaken, the private companies weren't doing it because they couldn't make any money at it. So I have no problems turning this over to the Treasury for 20% cut. That's fine and dandy. If they can get it, God bless them. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. So we do need a motion on this. Thank you, John. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I heard a motion by Carabelli. Support.
Support.
Romano.
You unmuted yourself.
Support by Harold Haw. Please vote.
That motion passes 12-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to move on now to items 5D and E. Do you guys want to motion both these up since it's going to be Clerk Miller talking about them both, or do you want to separate it? Your choices.
You
I'll make
unmuted
a motion
yourself.
to approve both.
Support
Motion to-
on doing them both.
Okay. Okay. Motion by Haw for item 5D and E. Support by Duge. Fred, come on up.
Hi there, Commissioners. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. So this is the contract that you probably should be familiar with by now. We've talked about it a couple different times. And I kind of pains me to be here, but I think it's in the best interest of protecting the interests of the county. This is an extension of the status quo contract with our existing provider, Avenue Solutions or Avenue Incorporated. They provide our software platform, which is really provides for all the workflow for both our vital records and our register of deeds departments. Register of deeds, of course, is real estate, paperwork and filings and quitclaim deeds and mortgages and things like that. Vital records is everything from birth certificates to marriage licenses, DBAs, notary public, etc. So this is really the platform. It's the spine by which the department operates. As you all remember, we went out to bid. We selected a different vendor in Tyler. Really exciting to put this product to use for the people of Macomb County. However, because of COVID, because of the shutdown, there was no national travel. We were initially scheduled to do user acceptance testing, which means we would have somebody from Tyler on site to walk our people through setting up and going through every single process, every single form, every single application, and really installing this thing. But because that has been delayed, we thought it best to move the schedule back. We've been working with the IT department to make sure that they have a dedicated person on site who can help us navigate this process. And so this just reflects keeping the status quo with our incumbent vendor for the next couple of months so that we can continue to do this process the right way and as quickly as possible, but recognizing the delay due to COVID.
Okay. Do we have any speakers? My thing doesn't seem to want to skip. So we have any speakers on this?
Commissioner, I don't see that any commissioners have signed up to speak.
Okay, so this we don't have any commissioners to speak on this. Fred, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We do have take care. We do have a motion for D and E. Please vote.
That motion passes 12-0.
Okay. All right, Fred, take care. Keep up the
Thank
good
you,
work.
Commissioner. See you around. Thank you very much.
You too. Yep. All right, I'm going to move on now to new business. Any commissioners out there have any new business that they would like to address? Anybody? Okay. No new business. We'll close out new business and we'll go on to public participation. Once again, if anybody's out there on the phone, please hit *69 to unmute yourself and you'll have 5 minutes to discuss anything you desire. Anybody out there on the phone? Okay. One more time, if you'd like to be a participant in public participation, please *69 to unmute yourself and go ahead and start speaking. State your name and your city. Okay, going once, going twice, we're going to close public participation.
You unmuted yourself.
Oh,
Motion to adjourn.
okay.
Support.
Got it.
You unmuted yourself.
That's it.
Support that. Good meeting, Chair.
Good. Take care, everybody. Be good.
Hold on it, Marv.
Oh,
See you later, everybody. Have a good weekend.
See you,
Unmute
CJ.
yourself.
Congratulations. That's the shortest meeting we've had in a while. Thank you, Chairman.
I think so. Bye.